Hey everybody, how are you? I told you I was going to be in the studio. I'm a little late and I apologize profusely. I really do. I'm here with my entire crew today and I'm truly excited. We have everybody there. I mean everybody. And I'm going to try to get to the point as quickly as possible with making an impact. As I mentioned to you on the way here. Wait, before we go in, let me just show you who I have here, okay? We have Vince.
Hey.
Ren. TP Square, the CEO of all of this. And here's Cal.
Carlos Grande, people.
So here we go, everybody. We're going to talk about a topic subject that a friend of mine, actually, I have what I call my my round circle of people that I know that are very opinionated, and they are not afraid to talk about life situations and what goes on in life and the realness of how to deal with these certain topic subjects.
All right.
And when I went around the round table, you know, it came to my attention that we have a problem today that a lot of people don't really talk about, which is being single, having children, and dating. And for all of you that are out there single and dating, or all of you that are out there that are considering dating somebody who has children, you have to listen to what I'm going to say today. You must pay attention to what I'm about to say. This is so incredibly important. And then Cal, being Cal, put a different spin to it, which I was completely blown away with this particular question that Cal said. And his question was, what if you have a friend?
Yes.
Say, you.
What if, ladies and gentlemen, what if you have a friend, you know, not a major friend, but just a friend.
An acquaintance.
Yeah, an acquaintance. And you find out that acquaintance is dating or attempting to date one of your other friend's children, who's an adult child. Well, basically, they're children, but they're now an adult, 18 or more years old, and they're the child of another friend.
I cannot listen.
That's like dipping into the...
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
I got to be honest with you. As I was mentioning while we were setting up, my son is 26 years old, and he's extremely handsome. God bless him. He's very successful. He's going on to take his CPA. He's done the right thing, I guess, you know. And it largely because I have been super strict with him, you know, with regards to education and things like that, direction. Being a single mother, you don't have time to really putz around and, you know, and be, oh, baby. No, we have no time for that. You got to do this. You're a certain color in this world, and you got to do what you got to do, period, right?
Moms don't do do-overs.
We don't do do-overs, right? And we get blamed for everything that happens. So, and I'll be honest, somebody said something so ridiculous today about how the reason why jails is so full is because single mothers didn't have the fathers in their lives. Well, I come from a household, a mother who raised 5 of us. Look at me now, baby. We're all doing just fine, you know, so that's not the reason why the jail system is so packed and filled. Lisa, I hear you. Anyway, so with that being said, I digress. One of somebody who I called a mosquito who used to hang around me, I call her a mosquito. She's not a friend of mine. She's an acquaintance.
Okay.
She tried to get with my son.
Ill.
And
Your 26-year-old son.
My 26-year-old son when he was 23.
How old is she?
She's 40. So let's say my son is 26 now. She's about 46 now.
All right, 20-year difference.
Call her a cougar.
That's a cougar, which we're going to talk about next week. Lisa, Dana, Financia, we're going to talk about cougars next week. Okay, definitely. Cougars. We're going to talk about cougars, and we're going to talk about older men dating younger women, and is that a standard where some of us think
they only want my Social Security? So
right? Well, see, here's the thing. That's what we're going to talk about. Is it about that, or is it something that, you know, who are we to judge? Who are we not to judge? Is it right? Is it wrong? We're going to put the TP Square Show, Diana's Real Talk, here at Genesis Radio. We're going to put the kibosh on it. And either you agree or you don't agree, you know, whatever. You can do whatever you want to do. If you want to call in, it's 888-304-4401. But we're going to talk about that next week. And we're going to also talk about how this mosquito tried to get with my son. But before I digress, let's talk about what I met with a huge personality. You guys all know. That's the reason why I'm late. And he happened to be here in PA, and he texted me through a friend that I know. He's like, hey, Nana, you know, I want to talk to you about this subject, dating while single. And it wasn't him. It was his crew who chimed in. And I was amazed by what was said to me, because as a single parent, dating, I consider myself dating successfully. I don't have problems. I just, maybe because it's just, I don't know. I just don't have problems in dating at all.
Okay.
I took notes here, and they're sloppy notes, but I sat at the table and I couldn't help. The one thing that came out the most, that stood out the most, is that this particular person said single men with children are the bottom of the barrel.
BS.
Wow.
Whoa,
This is the
Wow.
bottom of the barrel.
Who said that?
Single fathers are the bottom of the barrel.
Why?
And then he said that goes the same thing with single mothers that are out here dating. We are essentially the bottom of the barrel.
I don't get that.
Okay.
And what is this status?
So I asked this particular person, and I will withhold their name because, quite frankly, everybody is entitled to their own opinion, and I respect
Gotcha.
that, right? This person said that if you are a single parent dating and you're out here, that why should we deal with your mistake? Why should we deal with your F up, your screw up? You know, why should we be the second on your list if I'm dating somebody? The guy said to me, and the girl said to me, they both had agreed with one another. If I'm dating you, I don't want to be second. I don't want to have to work around your schedule. I don't want to compromise. I don't want to raise somebody else's second, what did he call it? I didn't write that down, but basically mistake or whatever. Go ahead, Cal.
Grow the hell up.
I want to
Vince said, grow the hell
I
up.
want to elaborate on that because, first off, dude, get over yourself. Because this person has decided, male or female, has decided to move on with their life, but still acknowledging their responsibility of a child.
Absolutely.
Now, the fact that they choose to move on, they want to continue on with their life, does not mean you are that relevant that all of a sudden you take precedence in their relationship. The fact of the matter is they have a relationship, A, with their children, B, with you. If they choose to be.
And the children's parents, the other parent. Good, bad, or indifferent. There is a relationship that does exist.
Exactly. So if you feel that you become their second choice, you're giving yourself more credit or relevance than you actually deserve.
Go ahead, Cal.
Because first and foremost, that child is number one.
Make no mistake about it.
So therefore, you can never be number one. That child is number one.
Facts.
I'm seeing some discontent over here from Diana. Her face is being
No,
scratched
because
up.
I agree with everything he's
okay.
saying. Honestly, I have so much to say, but I want my crew to say what you guys have to say.
Like I said, as we discussed a couple of weeks ago about narcissism, and it was stated
That's what the person said, that
having,
single parents are the biggest narcissists in the world.
That's
That's not true.
That's not so. Because you know why a single parent can never be a narcissist?
Because they got a responsibility.
Because,
for
yes,
children.
And they
They
worry
have
too
taken-
much about their kids.
They have taken that line to be a parent more than an individual.
Now, I'm sitting here in a room full of men. So if there are men out here who think I'm just speaking for women, no, men and women in this room are being represented.
You're speaking with, right now, 3 men who first and foremost are fathers.
Right.
We are men, but we are more so fathers.
Than anything else,
than
above and
anything
beyond.
else.
Now, Jason, I get what you're saying. You're saying dating someone with a child is complex because things change when married. I agree. Dating, okay, I don't even know where to start because I'm so
Wound up.
about
you
this.
are.
I really am. And when I get wound up like this, I either start cursing, which I'm not going to do.
Your mind runs faster.
Oh, and it runs faster than what I can actually,
Absolutely.
Well,
talk about, right?
Join the club.
Right, exactly, Vince.
Well,
And it's
Queen,
like,
Queen, let me interject this before you go on.
yes,
number one, as you just stated, knowing you are also a parent. As we are parents, it is considered a package
Deal.
No, if you want to be part of me, my child is part of me. If you cannot accept me with my child,
Shame on you.
Please.
Gotta go.
Kick
Exactly.
rocks.
Gotta
Kick
go.
rocks.
Okay, so why this person said we are narcissists is because it's always about us. It's always about our time. It's always about the kids. Okay, let me just build some expectations for those of you who want to or feel like you want to date a single parent or are thinking about it. You will never come first. Ever. Let's just put anything in your mind
Right.
that you will ever be number one in this person's mind. The answer is no. You will not be. And you will not be the person's first choice as far as decision making only if this person is a good parent. That's number one. Not that we don't love you and not that we don't care about you and not that we don't want the best for you as our partners, because we do. You must understand that our children come first. Period.
I hate a chick that put the man first. I can't stand that.
Now, thank you, Ren. One of the conversations that came up from this gentleman who said dating with a woman with children is complex because two things. If you date a woman who's not available when you want them to be, that's a problem. If you date a woman who has children that is always available, that's a problem. He's right. Either way, he's right. Men of you who are out there who don't have children, I need you, and women, don't get mad at me. I know this is I'm gonna pay for this. But guess what? It is what it is. It's called Diana's Real Talk for a reason. And if you want to call in, 888-304-4401. Men without children, don't date a woman with children unless you know your position and your place.
There you go.
Single, independent men who are out there who don't have children, women who don't have children, don't date a man with children unless you are able and willing to become a blended family. Unless you are willing and able, and this goes for men and women, unless you're willing and able to automatically, you're going to meet the kids one way or another. You're going to meet them, which means you have to, either you want to believe it or not, take on the role as a step-parent. I have a girlfriend now who's dealing with a man who has 6 kids.
Ouch.
And all boys, and one happens to be a girl. Then on top of it, it's probably one of your baby mamas. It's probably somebody you dealt with.
Probably.
The baby mama said to the father, well, why doesn't your girl do the baby's hair? Why does she always come back with her hair looking a mess? Yes, sweetheart, the one that's dealing with the guy with the kids, do that baby's hair.
There you go.
Listen, there are responsibilities, unspoken about responsibilities when you're dealing with somebody who doesn't have children. If you're a man in my life, and you wake up before me, and my kids are older, so it's hard for me to say put me in it. Right, exactly. But if you're a man in my house, you're sleeping in my house, you wake up in my home, and let's say I have 3 little boys or 2 little boys or 1 little boy or a little girl, whatever, I have children in the house, and you just sit around and mess around, and you don't even think in your mind, maybe they're hungry. Mm-hmm. Should I ask them, do they want a cereal, or should I ask them?
I'm cooking breakfast.
Right, I'm going to cook breakfast. If you're not one of those people who can do that as a person that does not have kids,
leave in the middle of the night.
Yeah, leave in the middle of the night.
Exactly.
As Vince said, leave in the middle of the night and make your position known.
That's right.
Make your position known. You ain't supposed to be there. You're not supposed to be there. And first of all, if you're a man in a woman's house who has kids, know when to be quiet. If she says, let me put my kids to sleep first, and then we could watch a movie and have Netflix night.
Stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane and know your position.
Exactly.
Be quiet. You're not the man of the house.
Right.
You're not the man of the house.
Can I say, Renzo? Don't be that dude.
Don't be that guy.
Don't be that
Don't
guy.
go in there eating up all the snacks, making noise. Don't do it.
Playing with the kids when they're overdoing it. Just sit back and wait till the kids go to sleep. Don't overdo it.
Inviting yourself.
Yeah,
places.
no, overdoing
Oh my.
it. Reaching.
Reaching. Now, unless the woman or the man gives you that permission, and then you guys have been seeing each other quite often, and there's a connection,
kids,
and there's a different story.
Have that discussion.
Have that discussion, keep it open, but don't put yourself in a position where you feel like you're so okay. I just can't. I have to get my mind together because there's so much I want to say.
For me?
Don't put yourself in a position where you feel you belong in a place where you weren't even invited.
Yes.
Yeah.
If I invite you into my area of life, knowing that I have children, and you as a man, if I say, listen, I'm a mother first, right? You'll never, and I say this to anybody that comes into my life, you're never going to be the number one priority. First comes God, then comes Raina and Freddie. Then you got to figure out in yourself if that's what you want to do. Mm-hmm. And a lot of men can't do it, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. One guy actually said to me after our second date, it's too hard to date you. It's just way too hard to date you. I can't see you when I want to see you. Mm-hmm. No, baby. My own husband, who I lived with for 15 years, couldn't see me when he wanted to see me. Because guess what? I got things to do.
And the kids is first.
I have things to do.
Mama's
You know, there's bills that got to be paid.
Mama's
I like
choice.
doing this. I like taking my switch and the light comes on.
Uh-huh.
I like going like this and the faucet brings water out. This stuff don't happen miraculously or because I'm pretty. We got to work.
Gotta work for it.
We got things we got to do. Right? As a woman with children, when a man says to you, nobody's ever going to want you because you got all these kids, don't believe the hype.
Really?
When a woman says, nobody's going to want you with all these kids, don't believe that either. At all. The person who says that has the problem, not you. You have a situation that you got to deal with. You don't have a problem, you have a situation. There's a difference.
Let me add to that. Here's where I may, and I know I'm going to get myself in trouble here.
No, please, let it out.
If this person has 4 different kids by 4 different baby daddies, that may be a red flag.
Listen, I swear to everything I love, that same thing came through. Call in, Jason. The same thing came true. The guy who I was talking to, his crew, he said to me, now this guy was like, and by the way, single parents are not narcissists.
Amen.
Gremlins are narcissists. When you in public, they're like this, and then you throw water on them, they trying to kill you. That's a narcissist. Now, let's break that right there. My thing is, what Vincent said is something that we all need to take heed.
Yeah.
Not the fact if you got kids or not. The fact of your destructive thought process. Yeah, your decisions. Like, okay, listen. I don't judge anybody. We shouldn't judge anybody. You shouldn't judge anybody. So if a woman or a man has 4 different kids with 5 to 8 different women, let's say the guy has 5 kids and got 8 different baby mamas. You do the math. Things happen. He's a magician. Things happen, right? I'm just saying, I got cousins like that, and David, you know who you are. But anyway, with that being said, no, we're not going to talk about Cal, because Cal is a smooth operator. He actually take care of his kids. I'm talking about the ones who are out there who make reckless decisions and then get mad at you because you don't want to deal with it. Why are you getting mad at me? It's like you telling me, you know what, I live in my mother's basement and we got to watch TV down there and you just got to deal with it. Why I got to stay in your mother's nasty ass basement? Because you didn't figure out how to get a bedroom apartment or do something to get. I don't have to put up with anything I don't want to put up. To Vincent's point, if you meet somebody who's got all these kids with all these different baby daddy and baby mamas, it's your choice if you want to be with them or not. But if you do decide to be with them or not, I don't want to hear the complaints. You put yourself in a situation. So
Right.
just like they made the decision to have three, 4, 5, 6 different baby mamas and daddies, it's your decision that you want to be there with them.
Mhm. And if you do, you lose the right to complain.
Right. And you lose the right to complain. Now you become somebody who's involved with a person with kids, and guess what? Now you got kids.
But see, let me ask you this. Just because you may be involved with this man, and
Mm-hmm.
you have 2 or 3, 4 different kids, at what point do you allow them to act as a disciplinarian in the house?
Okay.
To do those kind
That
I would
came
say
up.
as far away as that as possible, because you're never going to be right no matter what.
Kyle,
you
you
do.
answer that question since you got kids, a bunch of kids, and a bunch of baby mamas.
Well, to allude to what Brother Vincent said, first off, I put it on the biological parent.
Uh-huh.
The biological parents, mother and father, need to express to their children the matter of respect along with discipline.
True story.
You shouldn't have to be disciplined in that manner if you're taught respect from the gate.
Yep.
Because as children, we respected our elders, you know, even strangers in the family, strangers to the family, we respected them. So I might not agree with Mr. Johnson, but I'm gonna respect Mr. Johnson's right to talk and the fact that he's an elder. He's a friend.
You mean the boyfriend, the new husband.
I'm gonna
No,
respect
not even new husband yet. Just the boyfriend in the house.
just the boyfriend. I'm still gonna respect him. I'm still gonna respect him because that's what I was taught.
That's the
I
kid,
was
yeah.
taught respect. The only time I will get disrespectful
I see what you're saying.
is when disrespect is then shown. If he comes in the house and he's not respecting the house, say breaking stuff,
Hitting your mother,
Eating the kids' snacks.
eating the kids' snacks.
all of
You know
those-
what, friends? You ain't
all
nothing.
of those disrespectful things. Now, as I'm of age, that I can say, hey, excuse me. And you see, still being respectful, excuse me, sir. You know,
We don't do that here.
we're not allowed, you see, the word allowed to do and act like that in this house. Now, I don't agree with it, but, you know, this is what I was taught. At which point now, it's on this person. He can say, well, I'm going to do what I want to do.
You're talking about the boyfriend.
The boyfriend.
Okay.
I'm going to do what I want to do, so on and so forth. Now, at this point, Mom, I don't like Mr. Jones. You know, he's always up in here doing this, doing that, eating the snacks, and doing so on and so forth. I'm not cool with that. Now it's on the mother or the father, based on the situation, to address it to Mr. Jones or talk to you about it. But now, if Mr. Jones oversteps his boundaries to the point where he's going to try and discipline you, check you, now it's the thing where, based on that child's age, that child might check Mr. Jones himself or tell his dad. And as we said earlier, a real father, oh my goodness, you just opened a whole new Pandora
Okay,
box.
you're gonna get into a whole different subject
Yeah.
that we're gonna talk about. Go ahead, Renz.
What Cal is saying is true. If I was to go to a female, I expect the kids to show respect off the jump when I come in. She would tell them, I'm having company, da 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 da. So I respect the when I come in, the
Exactly.
respect. But after a while, you start getting accustomed to the children. You start trying to learn them. Instead, trying to you try to learn them and help out the mother at the same time. By staying out the way, or when they, come in the room or something, you could talk to them, but you know your limits, and your limits is respect. That's all it is.
That is exactly what it comes down to.
Let me also interject this, because Ren had brought this up earlier. The movie Baby Boy with
Yeah.
Tyrese.
Oh
Remember
my
when the
goodness,
actor-
that movie Baby Boy
we
with
talking
Tyrese.
about
when
that.
the actor
Tyrese, do me a favor,
Remember
just
when-
Tyrese, if you're listening to this, stop putting your business out there about the baby mama.
Thank you.
Call me at 888-304-4401.
And put your business out
Like
Don't-
Tyrese, baby. I just want to
Tyrese,
kiss
don't
you and
be
hug you.
that guy.
Don't be that guy,
Don't be that
Tyrese.
guy.
We've
Well,
all been through that, but don't do that.
Well, again, as we were saying, got to check, because I have a son named Tyrese. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Not
So,
you.
okay. So, as we were saying, in that movie Baby Boy, the actor Ving Rhames, he's in the kitchen, butt naked, cooking.
I had a towel on.
See, that's
Yeah, he had a
disrespectful.
towel.
I had a
But
towel
the
on.
thing is, now, People say that's disrespectful.
888-304-4401.
People say that's disrespectful. But I would ask, who is being disrespectful? Ving Rhames or the mother?
Well, I think the responsibility falls on whoever's house it is.
Well, exactly.
So my thing is, see, I was the worst. The worst. And mommy, if you're listening to me, I apologize. I was the worst stepdaughter on God's green earth.
So you disrespecting them?
I was the first one to say, you're not my father. You know, don't tell me what to do.
There you go.
I told my mother one time in front of the guy, I was like, he needs to get his walking shoes and get out of here. My mother was like,
Well,
oh my God.
See,
That's grown folks' business.
But now,
Exactly. I was
was
the
you?
worst. I was my daughter's age. I've had a reckless mouth since I can remember. Hence the reason why I'm here. I've always talked
We know.
reckless.
God bless the man that took that.
Right, exactly. I've always been so blunt about everything, and it worked for me and it worked against me.
Yes.
But I also know as you get older, you have to learn how to reel that in. As a child, I remember my mom, my poor mother, she tried very hard to regain her freedom as a woman, right, who was divorced. My mother was a domestic violence survivor. I'm the child of a domestic violence survivor.
Gotcha.
So when I would see my mother going through something, I would jump to war, like, don't talk to my mother like that. You know, don't say nothing to my mother. And my mother was like, I got this. And I was the daughter who always never minded her business, right? So now my daughter, fast forward,
Does the same?
no.
No.
Because there's a my mother allowed me to get away with too much, and I'll be the first to say that. I was probably the most spoiled child out of all my siblings and my oldest brother.
Okay.
But also, I've always had a strong personality, and my daughter has a strong personality. That's why I can't bring people around my daughter yet. I can't. Because my daughter would be like, I don't like him. I don't like him. I don't like him.
How
No,
old is
I don't.
she?
My daughter's 13.
Oh, Lord.
She's 13, so she's already going through some crap
Yep.
that no one can understand for women, girls who are going through what they going through, right? But I digress.
The crazies.
The crazies, right? The stuff that happens to us throughout our entire lives.
The crazies.
Yeah, exactly. Something happens with a woman when they hit 12 or 13.
Lose their damn
It's
mind.
just not right. It's just not right. And then we get a dry spell on top at the end.
wow.
Oh, the number is 888-304-4401, Jason. So anyway, to his point, Renz's point, there has to be a certain amount of respect, but there also has to be, you know, when you are a person that's dating who has children, you as the person dating the person with children, you got to have a whole single life. You have to have a life that. We have a caller. Hold on a minute.
Look out for the
Because I don't want to lose that point. Answer it. Dana's Real Talk.
Hey, this is Jason. I'm watching the video.
Hey, Jason. How are you? Welcome to the show.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much for calling. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from California. I've been seeing you on there. You're doing your thing. Hey, your whole crew, everything's just like lovely.
Thank
What up,
you.
Ron?
Thank
Just
you.
get
Thank you,
realer.
Jay.
I love all the real perspective on August 21st. You keep it nothing but fire. So, just keep it all real. It's always real.
Thank you
So,
so much. So talk to me. What are you calling about?
Well, you guys are talking about a lot of stuff. You guys are talking about dating, single, all those things they're complex.
They are.
You can't even discuss it on this radio show in this 1 hour. There's way
I
too
know.
much even
I know.
to cover.
I know. I know.
So, but I'll cover you with this, and this is for men out there who are married, single, and they are dating a woman with a child, and maybe there's some men out there who can get on the phone and talk about this. But women or even men who hide the issues that they go through with their kids to score a good person, and then you find out the issues later. Now talk to me about. Now I'm saying that hide them,
We
but
spoke about
is there
that.
any men out there who could talk about issues of blended families or dating a woman who's the kid looks a certain way, everything looks good, and then as you get into the situation, it's not even what you thought it was.
So what you're saying, Jason, is that, so let's say, and again, this is not just for men, women, this is for men too. Because I'm going to share something very personal in a minute as well. What you're saying is when you meet a woman, because obviously, when you meet a woman with children, they may say...
Or a man with children.
No, but I'm talking about you. You're a man.
Oh, yeah, yes.
And so when you meet a woman with children, there could be an incident where the woman is telling you what you want to hear, or what may seem like a nice package to get you in, and then once you get in and you're involved with her life, you realize that the situation that she built around her is incorrect in our lives.
The child is now really Damien.
Baby kids.
I don't want to say maliciously saying lies, but not necessarily
the truth.
All what it's not being shown in the way that it really is.
So
and
give me an example. Give me one example, Jason.
Gosh, suicidal tendencies in a teenager. But the parent doesn't think that they're suicidal until, it's being brought to their attention.
Might be too late.
So what that means is, oh, that's a good one. So what you're saying is, to my point, when you get involved with a man or a woman that has children, you inherently take on whatever's going on in those children's lives because you are there, right?
Now, what if they want you? See, and that's the thing of. And there's men who can attest that the art of manipulation is so subtle that you really don't know if you're being manipulated.
I agree.
Until you're manipulated.
I
don't
agree.
want to call that narcissism or not, but we all can put on a nice dress or a nice suit and wink here, wink there, and then we're brought in.
Well, I know people who use sex as a form of manipulation so that the person does stay in their lives with their children.
Who would ever think?
Well, another thing, a form of manipulation is information.
What do you mean?
Also,
well, not saying the whole story. Even a half truth is just as dangerous as telling a lie. Or in like news, where you see a perspective of something, but it's not truly the perspective. But you're being shown a perspective, but it's not truly the actual scenario. But I'm just using that as an example that
right.
So for men out there, or even women out there, because like you just said, I don't know how old you are, Diana. I don't need to know. But you said as a teenager, you were very disrespectful. Of course you are. You're very young, right? But you were able to look back and say, I was a disrespectful teenager. But it took you probably maybe 10, 20 years to be able to say that. You probably wouldn't,
Oh, I would. I agree with you. I would never have admitted that at the time. You're right. You're right.
Right, and that's the point of, for women out there now, is there any women out there or even men who've deceived their partners, and what they were thinking when they deceived their partners to get them to get involved with them?
Well, I mean...
And how do you resolve those things?
Well, here's the thing. Yeah. It takes two, Jason. It takes two. So it's not that one had to manipulate one or the other. She may or he may had a little more game with it. But it's your choice, too, to be a part of that relationship. Whatever he or she said, you made a conscious decision to be with a person that had a child. You did.
It's the package.
Right. So either they were manipulating, either they were lying, either whatever they chose, sex, buy you clothes or food or take you out to elaborate dinners, you chose to be there. So we all have to take some accountability as to what we do in our lives, Jason. You understand what I'm saying?
Once she told you she had kids,
Agreed.
Jason, once she told you she had kids, you have to respect that because that come with the package.
There you go.
So if you really want to be with the woman, you got to take the kids with her.
You have to expect to be
with
the kids.
That.
And let me tell you something.
But look, but nobody want to do no badass kids, though.
Nobody want, but that's your choice to leave, right?
Absolutely.
Right. That's the whole
I'm
point.
out. That's a deal breaker.
Depending on the chick.
See, that's the thing. That's the thing. It depends on if the...
Depending on the chick.
But
you can deal with the bad kids.
From a mature point, though.
I just caught that.
Now, on the other side of it, I mean, we don't just, if your life's not in danger, then you don't just leave a situation. You do face it, right? But at what stage can you, or how do you embrace? I guess it's really just being patient and just waiting.
Well,
No, what was the question, Jason? Like, what was the question?
No, that was the question. The question is how do you deal with that manipulation part of it? You just said it. You just embrace it. You accept the situation, and then from there you're going to find your resolution.
Well,
I mean, that's what I took from it.
Well, no, I'm not saying just accept it because, quite frankly, this is your life. You only have one shot, right? So if you want to stay, you stay. If you don't want to stay, you don't stay. And I know a lot of people who are going to say, Diana, you're not promoting commitment. I am promoting commitment when you're married. When you're not married to the person and you love the person, but you realize that the package that comes with this person is inherently not healthy for you, you as your own person that is in charge of your own life should have a decision, the right to say, I don't want to be a part of this.
True.
I don't want to be a part of this.
But also, let me interject this. Let me add this. And I don't know if everyone will agree with me, but
They don't have to, Cal.
One thing I know is no greater love than a mother's love for a child.
Yes, sir.
Now, if you are in this relationship and she has a child, then sit back and observe her love for her child. Because that same love she has for her child, you can hope one day that you can be in that position to receive that kind of love. And if she treats her child screwed up, you don't need to be there because you know if she can't love her child, how's she really going to love you?
Well, there's some people who would disagree with you in this
But-
because I happen
Now,
to
wait,
agree with you.
Oh, can you let him elaborate more? Elaborate more on that.
Well, what I'm saying is this. As she loves her child, she helped bring that life to existence. Now, if you and her are going to build a future, you can see how she treats one of her most precious gifts. And you can hope that one day she will treat you in the same
way.
or close to the same manner. But now, if she can't even love that child, how could you honestly really think she could ever love you?
I agree with
So
that.
you see her commitment.
Why is that touching you so? Why is that affecting you the way it is, Jason? I'm just curious.
Because he's speaking his own honest truth, and I can appreciate anybody who can just be honest and just talk about it. Is whether he's dealt with it before, has talked to other guys who he's had to keep it real with. He's saying his truth. That's why he started with, I don't think people are going to agree with me, but I really can appreciate his honest perspective. That's why I called in.
Well,
You gotta keep it real.
excuse me a second, Jason. Now,
Yes.
God rest her soul, my mother passed away. But I grew up in the house raised by a single mom. And she was a social service worker. So I'd seen different relationships and all that in their existence in society, coming out of Queens, New York. Now, I also had a friend. I won't say her name, but her stepfather tried to sexually abuse her. When she told her mother chose to disbelieve her and told her, you need to get out of here for ruining my happily ever after.
Well, see, that's Jason.
That's a movie. I know that's a complex situation, but I
Very
get
complex. Very complex.
Well, here's the thing. One of the topic subjects that came up in my meeting this afternoon was that just because, see, a lot of women and men feel like, and there's here's the flip side of it. A lot of men and women choose to deal with people with kids because they feel if they are nurturing to their children that they are going to receive that same behavior. Well, the answer is that is not always true. And I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you why. I dated a guy who loved his daughter intently. But he was a narcissist when it came to the relationship. He was somebody who was literally not a good person as my boyfriend, which why he's not my boyfriend, and it lasted 2 minutes, but he was a great dad. And there are women who are incredible lovers, incredible girlfriends, incredible wives, but choose to ignore their children.
right.
That don't have a relationship with their children. So it depends. It really is a personal thing in who that person is. That one is all individualized. You can't put a scale on everybody, right?
Right.
Because,
And you know what, too? Not even being a parent doesn't make you not a good parent, even if you don't have kids. It's look on the outside looking in. You can see what the parent can't see, and that's where the areas of discipline.
That is very true. That is true.
Well,
So, parents have blind spots.
Yes.
I mean, that's
Because
real talk. They have blind spots.
we're in love with them.
Well,
Right.
I'll also add
And-
this. I was in a situation with my ex-wife. I didn't know if she was dating me or her father, because he seemed to garner more time and respect than me and our children. To
And
the
she's your
point-
ex-wife.
Yeah, and that's why she's my ex-wife. Because in our travels, in our relationship, she would not really try and work on or help clean the house until her father was coming over. Then when that would happen, now she
Unacceptable.
She wants to wake the whole family up.
Jason said unacceptable.
Yes, she wants to wake the whole family up. Get everybody has to clean up the house because grandpa's coming over. I'm like, hold on. What about Monday and Tuesday? We've been here. We live here, not him. So the house is in a mess until Dad's coming over.
Well, the house shouldn't be in a mess anyway. I mean,
Exactly.
you know, I always got an opinion about something because that's who
But
the hell
this
I
is the
am.
situation.
But I feel like, you know, if you married somebody who's lazy and nasty, if you knew that behavior before when you slid up in them or when they open their legs and split they open their legs, what you think you're gonna change? They're gonna get neat just because years passed and y'all had kids? He or she is nasty and dirty before and after marriage, and that's what it's gonna be. Which means now, again, taking accountability. If you know the person was nasty, then you need to put it in your mind and build it in your mind that I need to put some extra money aside to get a
Diana,
house cleaner.
But I'll tell you right now, I bet you my man did not experience that in the beginning.
That is why she's my ex, Jason.
And I bet you.
But you put up with it.
I bet you she kept it. No, I bet you she came over to his house and cleaned his house
No,
to
never
show
that.
him that she.
No, never that. No, never that.
No, the thing was,
Oh,
and
okay.
I'll say this. This is how Cal got down. When she came into my life, I respected her and treated her with graciousness. And when the time came that we began our relationship, our situation together,
Cohabiting.
yes. At this time, I said, okay, well, benefit of the doubt. Maybe it's going to be this way. Maybe it's going to be that.
There you go. That was your biggest mistake.
And the thing was, I gave her the benefit of the doubt. But then when the doubt became reality, this is when the final buzzer began to tick on the game.
Okay, public service announcement. Anytime you have to say benefit of the doubt, 4
We
words.
call that hope. We call that hope.
That ain't hope. You see that word doubt?
When in
You
doubt,
see
do
that
without.
word? Doubt? Believe it.
When in doubt, do without.
Believe it.
Well, you know what?
Especially when you
Then
come
that's
to a
the question.
certain age in life. It's hard to change when
Why are
you
you looking at me when you say a certain age?
No. I'm just making eye contact. Vince.
Well, you know, I want to say, somebody asked a question, and it's always a question being asked, why are there so many beautiful people single? And even just people single, people are choosing aloneness or singleness to have their respect. And I think that's what people are waiting on.
Well,
No, that's not true.
let me just say this then, Jason. The reason you have a lot of beautiful people that are single is because people are beginning to realize their self-worth. And others are being lazy and not putting in the work. They're not putting in the work to hold and maintain a real relationship.
Forget about beauty. Forget about being beautiful, bald-headed, no teeth. Forget about walking with a limp.
Being scrappy.
Right. Forget about that. I don't mean to interrupt, but forget about the word beautiful. Let's talk about
In a sense.
that's the word.
Because the fact of the matter is, getting into a relationship is easy. It's 1, 2, 3.
Right.
Maintaining and keeping that relationship is hard.
Right.
When you single, and
I agree with you, man.
If you
You got a lot of wisdom, man. It's time you do a podcast, write a book. I gotta go, you guys. But
Jason, thank you so much for calling in. Shout out to you. You were the best
I'll
caller.
invite you guys on a radio show one time out here in Northern Cali. I just hope that you guys can show some love, maybe 5-10 minutes.
Absolutely.
Sure,
Let us
why not?
know. Thank you,
Cali, why
Jason.
not?
You better start writing a book, Cal, because everybody
Cal.
keeps calling you Preacher Cal.
Look, when you single, Cal, and you go to like, it takes a lot to open up. Like, you got a comfort zone. It's like a shield, you know. When you meet somebody, it's going to take them a lot to open up your shield because you've been single for so damn long. You don't know, you don't tolerate a lot of
that
stuff.
That is 100% correct.
And your standards is high.
It's a little higher.
You could see people coming with the BS. So when I'm at home, it's hard to get them. A female trying to get up. No, we don't do those. This is my sanctuary. It's my peace. So I'm at home. I'm at peace at home, and it takes a lot. I'd rather go out and do stuff outside and then part ways or go to your house, but it's going to take a lot for me to know you before you come to my house.
Right. Well, here's the thing. Now let's add
imagine
children.
A woman that does the same thing. Though.
Now imagine a
The
woman
same
that
thing.
imagine being
battle.
that way and having children. Like, it's so difficult. Just already Ren's point, getting to know somebody. Getting to know somebody, and then on top of it, you're trying to get to know somebody, and not just for yourself, but now you have to start looking out for: is this person good to meet? Is good enough to meet my kids? So it's a burden. Dating and being single and having kids. It is a huge burden. It's a huge job. That's why I don't recommend people who don't have children to date people with kids unless you're okay with making sacrifices. If you're okay with taking a back seat, if you're okay with potentially one day becoming a person's step-parents, even if you don't even have kids your own, don't do it. Another thing is, if a man has his kids every other weekend, then baby girl, you got kids every other weekend.
Yeah.
It's very simple, and it goes vice versa. Wherever the child schedule is, you have it too.
Yeah.
And if a guy is dating me and he has kids and he says, you know, Dana, I can't see you these weekends because I have my kids, I respect that. Because right before my phone was about to die, you as an individual, and this is the law of the land for everybody in this entire world, whoever is listening, listen to what I have to say. Be a whole person alone. Alone. Be that person alone so that when somebody does come into your life, your entire existence is not on them. You have your own stuff going on. And it doesn't make you selfish. It doesn't make you, like somebody said, you're a narcissist. No, I'm not. I just happen to learn to know what I have to do. I have things that I have to do. And, you know, and it scares me when I see a lot of these younger folks and some of the older folks take on a person with, and take on their personality, takes on their entire lives, and they just become infused with this person's lives so badly that they forget that they're their own individual and that they have their own lives. It makes me nervous.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know,
Diana, there's another part that I don't think we dealt with, and I'm sure that you probably can relate to. And you talk about dating somebody who has children. Let me give you a different type of child that a lot of people don't understand that takes up a lot of time. You're just starting your own business. That is a child, because now your time is going to be so wrapped up in getting that business established, because it is a very time-consuming and a very mentally consuming
issue. I agree completely. That's what I'm going through now. I agree.
I've been there, and I know. I know how it can destroy a relationship.
I agree. Yeah. I agree completely, Vince. That was absolutely brilliant, because I deal with that all the time. On top of being a single woman with kids, I'm running a business, so. In order for somebody to date me, there has to be a point in a man's life to say, if I date Diana, I will not always be number 1.
2 or 3.
Right. And I may not have the spontaneity that people who don't have children or responsibilities outside of whatever they do has. I cannot be as spontaneous as most women out there who don't have children, or most men out here who don't have children. I can't do it. Hence the reason why it's very unlikely for me and I'm not talking for anybody out there listening, for me to be with somebody who doesn't have children. I prefer to deal with men who have children because I feel men with children can understand better than a man who doesn't have. However, there are men who have grown children, who have become that free spirit, who want a woman who could also be the free spirit. And guess what? That ain't me.
Right.
And this is why I'm telling everybody out there
But
that...
you know what you can do? You know what I would do? If I would be with a woman, be with a woman and she got small kids, and I really love that woman, and her kids are pain in the ass, I'm sending their ass to boarding school. I'm going to pay. You're going to send your kid to boarding school.
I'm not going to let nobody take my kids to boarding school.
No,
that man got to go.
No.
They laughing.
No.
They laughing.
That's not a good deal?
Absolutely
if
not.
I'm paying for it, that's not a good deal?
I don't care.
Ain't no good deal.
Nobody in the God's
getting rid
green
of your
earth
kids.
is going to get rid of my kids.
Really?
No
That
way.
ain't happening.
I don't
Even-
care.
even-
And if a man was
If they
to
go
be
to
with me,
exclusive school,
or with a woman
That's
or a
what we
man
just said.
that even suggested that you get rid of your kids, you get rid of that person
That's right.
ASAP.
but
That's
that
what we
but that
just
doesn't
Don't
mean,
even pack a bag. Throw the shit out the
That's
window.
what I was saying. If a woman chooses a man over the kids, she's a bird.
She's a bird.
But hold up. But that doesn't mean that he's saying get rid of your kid. It's saying that, look, your kid might be too little. You don't understand that we got doing with this blended. Your kid just can't handle the blended family thing, right? But let's collectively put something together and send her to a nice little, or him to a nice little boarding school.
Absolutely not.
No.
That's a great
No,
education.
because first of all, the
I don't
guy
care.
or the woman who is dealing with somebody with kids has to be respectful of that child. They always talk about how kids got to be respectful. You got to be respectful. What about the adult being respectful and understanding their position? Because when you're dating somebody with children, there's a lane. Okay, there is a lane. Stay in that lane. And unless you get introduced into that lane, don't try to put yourself or force yourself into that lane. I wish somebody would come into my life and tell me what I'm going to do with my kids after I gave birth to that child, I raised that child. And the fact that
Even if you love them,
love, let me tell you something about love.
Look out.
it's a useless emotion, right?
Let me tell you something about love. I love love. That's why I don't have nothing bad to say about Jennifer Lopez. Be with as much, do what you need to do, sis. Because if that's the feeling you want, if that's what you got to do, I don't say anything about any man out there that's dealing with multiple women who feel like they fall in love. I love love. Here's the thing about love.
Break it down.
Oh, hands getting on the hip. Look
Break
out.
it
Let
down.
me tell you something about love.
Go ahead, preach.
There ain't never been a time when some damn love paid my bills.
Probably black women, right?
There ain't never been a time when love put shoes or socks on my kids' feet. When my kids were hungry, love didn't fill their little bellies. You know who did? Me and their father. We went out and worked and provided to make sure that happened. We sacrificed. I sacrificed damn near all my career for my kids. But guess what? That's what happens when you decide to lay down, don't use protection, and have kids. Either you wanted them or not. Guess what? They're here. And I refuse for somebody to come into my life to tell me what the hell I'm going to do with my kids. Are you out your damn mind?
Hey, I'm with you on that.
You got to go.
Slip and slide.
You got to go.
I'm with
No,
you.
you got to go. And let me tell you something.
Did anybody
I
tell
have-
you to get rid of your kid?
No, but somebody told my mother to get rid of her kids.
Get rid of you?
No, he wanted me and my sister, but he wanted my mother to get rid of my 3 brothers. My mother looked
he was
at
scared of
him.
them, probably.
My mother looked at him and said, "Oh no, you got to go."
He probably was scared of your brother, huh?
No, they were kids back then. I was very young.
Oh.
They were all. We were all
this
kids.
was before.
This was before that.
Okay.
I mean, I learned from the best. My mother was a gang star, gang mom. She was like, "What?
You got to go.
You got to go." See, I'm the worst type of woman to date. Public service announcement. I'm a single mother that has things to do. I have a career. I don't need you for your money. I don't need you for nothing other than your time. And if our time together and we could coexist with one another and enjoy one another and have a good time with one another, sexually, emotionally, physically,
Companionship.
mentally,
Yeah.
and we can have intelligent conversation and we can stimulate one another, then God bless us, let's do it. If you come into my life and you try to tell me what to do with my kids, you'll be the first to go. You'll get put out before the trash gets put out.
Jesus,
Or with the
H.
trash.
Christ.
No, not with the trash, because now the trash comes. You
trash
come
serves
before the
the
trash,
purpose.
right?
The
You
trash
come before the
serves the
trash.
purpose.
The trash served the purpose because what was inside of it we used up, right?
Yeah.
You got to go.
Him and the trash on top of him.
You got to go. And
thought
I feel
the boarding school thing was
no. And let me tell you, all you single parents out there that has kids, and a guy or a woman,
I took my lumps.
suggest that you get rid of your children. And if you don't get rid of that person, that I although I say I don't judge, I will judge you. God will judge you. You yourself are weak. You're weak.
Well, first and foremost, the children are part of you.
And the children suffer.
And if
The
he-
children suffer
if he
more than
doesn't
anything.
want- if he or she don't want you, or don't
Your
want
kids?
children,
He
they
He
don't
really
want
don't
you.
want you.
If they can't accept that package deal, it's time for they got
gotta
to go.
go.
Yeah, of course.
You know, some person, the guy who I was talking to today, he was like, if I deal with your children, he said, why would I want to deal with your mistake, another man's mistake, or leftovers? And I said to
Called
myself,
your kid a mistake.
Why do you feel
he
you that
called,
important?
the
Never
woman
got-
that was
never-
sitting at the
never got to
table
fight.
said, men with children are the bottom of the barrel. And men with children are a waste of time.
What's his name?
It was a woman who said this, and she's on the radio herself every morning, and I won't say her name, but she says she refuses to deal with a man with children
Well, welcome
because
children?
she does not have
Probably
children,
lonely. She's
There you
probably
go.
lonely.
and she said
welcome
that
her lonely behind to the real world.
the one
Yeah.
time she decided to date a man with kids, she said, first of all, this is what she said to me in my face. First of all, he can't give me what I need financially because child support, he got to pay child support to the next woman. And then which I agree with her on this, you got to deal with the baby mama. I shut my book and I said, sis, I agree with you. A lot of times when you deal with a man that has children, you got to unfortunately deal with the baby mama. And sometimes, not all the time, if you had to deal with me, I didn't want nothing from you. Actually, I want to meet you because I want to know who my child's around.
True.
And I want us to have a respectful, I'm not going to use the word relationship, but I want us to understand that I know you, you know me, and it could get heavy at any given moment, the drop of a dime. But I want you to know who I am. And I will respect you, especially if my children like you. I love you.
That's the main
But
thing.
that's the main thing. Don't let my kids not like you because you're doing
that's the
something
main
to
thing.
them.
You have
We
to-
got a problem.
You have to work on them
But
kids.
my
You
ex,
have to draw the kids
I
in.
dealt with
some
his
snacks.
baby mama. She called me up and said, "Why don't you make sure he come and get her on time?" What?
Oh, well.
I know he's with you. Why don't you make sure? But guess what? In hindsight, she kind of got a point. Because if you choose to be with somebody with children, what did I say? Somebody in this room
It's
tell
some
me.
other obligations that they gotta have.
Yeah, it's a complete situation. You got to deal with her and him, not just him and his situation.
He's gotta-
His situation became your situation once y'all become a couple. But let me interject this, D. The thing is, now this is me speaking from a personal experience. With myself, as we laugh and we joke, I have custody. I had custody of my oldest son
I have so much respect
since
for
he
you.
was 6 years old. His aunt and grandmother testified in court on my behalf that custody should be mine. So when I laugh and joke about child support, I was being paid child support.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with that being the case, the situation presents itself as this woman told you, with children being the bottom of the barrel. Sister, welcome to the 21st century. In the real
Boy,
world.
you took the words right. I was just going to say that. It's
Because-
very difficult to meet somebody over a certain age, and now it's starting to get a lot younger. It's very difficult to be with somebody who doesn't have children.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
But as we discussed this earlier, there's a difference between men and fathers. You have men, yes, they have that little gift between their legs. Those are men, yeah, men. But fathers,
They ain't all gifts, but go ahead.
fathers have a gift in their mind and heart. They accept gladly the responsibility of being the influence and role model for our future generation.
I agree with you.
Now,
I agree.
Is this statement, a child can't grow to be a man unless he gets to see one.
I agree with you 100%, and that's why sometimes, no, I have to admit,
So
sometimes it does take a stepdad to come in and say,
Sometimes.
sometimes there are occasions, because I will keep it real with you. My ex-husband stepped into my son's life when my son was 8. They still have a relationship, and my son is 26. Do you know what my son said to me? He's like, Ma, I know you and him, there was a time when he and I didn't get along, after the divorce.
Surprise.
Right. We all go through that, right? He said, when my dad wasn't there, he was.
Mm-hmm.
If he didn't teach me how to cut the grass, throw out the garbage, have responsibility, get up on time, don't make excuses, then who would have? He was there. I said, me. He said, Ma, you can't do everything. And you know what? It took me a very long time to say thank you to my ex-husband. Because we're so caught up in the divorce and the anger and the bitterness and the this and the that you have to stop back and say, you know what? Thank you.
Yeah, he didn't divorce the child.
He didn't never divorce my son.
Right. Yeah.
We divorced one another, but he never divorced my son. When I met this person, he had a son. And I only had my son. And my support system was crazy. I had women upon women who helped me, the village, raise my son. So when I walked into the situation, now here's this guy every other weekend. I'm like, oh, God. I have to selfishly admit that I was like, I got to deal with this kid. And now this kid had a different mom, different set of rules, different, and now this kid I found to be very bratty. Because I made my son,
You're
had
a total lying woman.
Right. There was like, look.
I got you.
There's certain, you have to have respect. You got, this is how you talk. This is how you act around adults. This is what you do. Blah, 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 blah. This kid ran around, said what he wanted to say, did what he wanted to do. And I'm like, I don't know if I could deal with this.
Mm-hmm.
But let me tell you how I handled it. I came from a place, I said the only way I'm going to get through this is via love. Because if I love his dad, I have to love him. And I took this little boy as if he was mine. I had to.
Mm-hmm.
I had to.
I had the same thing.
I had to. Once I shifted my mindset, something happened. The little boy now looked at me like somebody he could come to, cuddle with, sleep with, wake up with, go out with. This boy now is 24 years old. And even now to this day, when he looks at me, he's like, I love you. I could have done another thing and said, screw this. I don't want to be a part of this. This is done. This is over with. I don't want to deal with this bratty ass baby kid.
But see, that was your enlightened approach to it.
I had to.
Not everybody has that enlightened approach.
But that's the whole point.
Absolutely.
If you can't get to that point that you could do a complete mindset. Cal got, how many kids Cal got?
9, 10.
You have 6 kids. If you're a woman that's gonna date Cal
And
And a possible.
6 in the pot, you got a space in.
and a possible,
5 in the possible. That's why
5
I said
and a possible,
six. That's why I said 6.
if you are a type of woman that don't have patience or can't become a stepmom, don't do it.
Absolutely.
Just don't do it. If you're the type of man that's gonna come into a woman's life, and the woman, now there's different type of women and men, and I'm not bashing you women out there, but there's women out there with a bunch of babies who don't discipline their babies, who has a messy household, who don't even have that is on welfare their entire lives, 3rd generation welfare moms, who don't do anything positive or don't want to do anything. Dude, if you choose to stay in that, don't
Shame on your
complain
butt.
and don't talk about her or try to talk about her to your friends or to your mama who live in the basement. That's your choice. You decide to be with her.
That's right.
I raised 2. There was 1 and 3 years old. They 27 and 24.
And they still love
And
you.
they love me to death. They respect me, all that. Because when I met her, You know, then she had my daughter down the line and my son. So it's like one big family, but they still respect me.
Blended families, to me, I respect the what do you call it, Vince? The family with the mother, the dad, the kids. I respect that. The nuclear.
We used to call them ready-made families.
Right. I respect that, right? But
Ready-made family.
when I see a blended family that works, I can't help but to stare.
It's a thing of beauty.
It's a thing of beauty. And let me tell you why it's a thing of beauty. And this is why I say, if you're a person who is going to deal with somebody with kids, if you don't come in there with the correct mindset, stay out of it. Don't even do it, because you don't have to. It's your choice. I'm not going to judge you for not wanting to date me. And don't judge me for not wanting to date you, because you don't have kids.
Absolutely.
Right? If you don't have kids, I'm not wasting my time with you. Period.
You don't know nothing about it.
You don't know nothing about it. I'm always going to be a mother. Until I die, I'm always going to be a mother. If my child is 30, 40 years old, I'm always going to be a mother.
Absolutely.
If my child calls me for something that they need, I'm
You're
going to
gonna be there.
rock and roll for them.
Absolutely.
Period. And the man that's in my life has to say, those are her kids. That's what she does. I respect. If not, I respect you for not wanting to be in it. We good.
But let me say this. And yeah, this is a moment where Big Cal has to pay homage to Miss Bellamy. The situation is, brothers, what she just described. This is a woman going hard for her children and herself. Now, what your job is, as you step into that relationship.
Yeah, tell us what that job is.
As you step into that relationship, is to get to now have her and her children embrace and welcome you into their world. You can't bring them into your world. You have to enter her world. And in doing such, encourage her career. Enhance the relationship with her, her children, and yourself. As you build those things, now that ready-made family, that family has now begun on a journey.
Cal preached. And I'm going to tell you why Cal preached. Because every woman, every man who has children, who are single out here, feel the same exact way. They just don't know how to express it. And you just expressed it so eloquently, so perfectly. People who are out here dating single, and we're getting a thumbs up. Cal, yes, that was Cal. People who are out here who are single, dating people with kids. You have to understand, we're not going to just jump into your world. We can't. We don't have that kind of time. You have to make the sacrifice to come into our world first.
That's right.
Exactly.
You got to fit in. You got to make peace with that. That's why I don't encourage it if you don't have it in you to do that. Mike Ross, who's not here, God, I love you, Mike. He just had surgery. I'm praying for you, Mike. I love you. Y'all know Mike Ross, right? He said to me, Diana, if I'm involved with a woman with kids, I'm gonna make sure that I'm gonna make it comfortable so I don't seem like I'm forcing myself on them. You know, if a woman with kids asks you to come out to dinner with her kids or with her child, understand she's making small steps to involve you in this nucleus.
Small steps.
And a man too. If a man invites me to dinner with their kid, I'm gonna be like, oh my God, I'm excited. I'm actually excited because now we took the next step.
Next step.
Right? Now, to me, that's more important than anything else going on in a relationship. If you love a man's child, he's gonna love you.
You got that right.
If you love a mother's child, a woman's child, she's going to love you. Mm-hmm. If it lasts or if it doesn't last, the very least, she'll have respect for you. He'll have respect for you because at least you tried. You made an effort. Yep. Now, again, this is not for everybody. And I'm going to disagree with you, and you know who I'm talking about. Men who have children are not the bottom of the barrel.
No way.
Men with children who take care of their children are the most incredible men ever, because they have now shifted from being this mega strong, what society wants them to be, you know, oh, you're strong, you can't show emotion, you can't. And then as soon as that child comes, there's a shift. Something happens. Women, pay attention to that. Pay attention to when a man feels that love for their children. That is something that is honest and beautiful. And you know, and I say men because there's so much pressure on our men today to be always so strong and don't show emotion. Incorrect. Look at the softer side of things. You know, look at the emotional side of a man. And if you say, oh, he's weak, oh, he's this, no, you're weak as a woman. You're weak because you can't allow a man to be a man, not just for his children, but overall when a man feels that certain amount of peace and comfort in being emotional, accept that, love that, take that on, cherish that. Because there's some men out here, and y'all remember the segment I had about narcissists that'll beat you down. I'm just saying, look, we have 5 minutes to the show. Jason, thank you so much for calling in.
Yes.
We appreciate your input because everything you said was so on point. I just want to thank everybody in here. Anybody got some last minute things to say about dating a single parent? And let me know right now. Let us all know right now.
I'm going to say this as a single parent myself. Ladies, if you can't deal with me and my kids, please kick rocks.
And that's another thing. I hate when men say the reason why she's dating that guy, you know, when men come up to me and say, well, the reason why women with kids want to be in a relationship because they're looking for a daddy. No, we not. Baby, no, we not. Not all of us. No. Trust and believe that. Not all of us.
I'll tell you like this. It's a statement. If you can't be happy, if you can't be alone and be happy.
Exactly right. That is exactly right. You know, and for all of you people who are single parents with children, keep the faith because there's somebody out there for you. Believe me, baby, there is. Question. They're right. You know, be with like-minded people. Don't get pressured to think that you are used up or you're the bottom of the barrel. Don't listen to them people. Matter of fact, stay far away from them jokers, as Terry would say, jokers and clowns. You don't need them in your life.
Bobbleheads, I think is his phrase.
Yep.
What do you call it? Bobbleheads.
Yep, and bobbleheads.
Well, we love you here on Diana's Real Talk. We will see you next week. And a video will be coming out in the middle of the week to wrap this up.
Right.
We love you guys. Everybody, cheers. Salute.
All right, to my next baby mama. Peace.